Ron Howard, once a beloved child star and now an Oscar-winning director, has long been seen as Hollywood's ultimate nice guy. From The Andy Griffith Show to A Beautiful Mind, he built a reputation for being calm, respectful, and widely admired. On screen, Mayberry looked like a close-knit family. And yes, Howard shared real laughs with Andy Griffith and Don Knotts. But behind the scenes, not everything was friendly. There was one person Ron couldn't stand. Someone left him feeling deeply disappointed. And he wasn't alone. That same person sparked a private feud with Andy Griffith himself, one that lasted years. The tension simmered beneath the surface, the bitterness never faded, and the truth remained locked away in silence, but finally, it has come to light. The Andy Griffith Show. The Andy Griffith Show isn't just an old TV series, it's a beloved piece of American history that still touches hearts. Though it aired from 1960 to 1968, its stories, values, and characters continue to bring comfort and joy to viewers, old and new. For 8 beautiful years, the show invited audiences into the charming fictional town of Mayberry, a place where life was simpler, problems were small, and kindness always won. The series delivered 249 episodes, each about 30 minutes long. The first 159 were in black and white, giving them a nostalgic, timeless look. The last 90 were in color, bringing Mayberry to life in bright detail. But whether black and white or in color, every episode kept the same spirit, wholesome, funny, and full of heart. Surprisingly, the show didn't start on its own. It first appeared as a special episode on The Danny Thomas Show. That's where we met Andy Taylor, the calm, wise sheriff of Mayberry, played by Andy Griffith. His peaceful nature, gentle humor, and steady leadership won over viewers immediately. Soon, Andy and his little town got their own series and history was made. Mayberry was fictional, but it felt real. Said to have just a few thousand people, it was the kind of town where everyone knew your name. Sheriff Andy Taylor wasn't just a lawman, he was also a widowed father raising his young son, Opie, on his own. Andy didn't carry a gun or shout commands. He kept peace with patience, common sense, and quiet strength. He was the steady center of Mayberry, both as sheriff and father. Opie, played by a young Ron Howard, was sweet and curious. The bond between father and son was one of the show's most touching elements. They fished together, shared life lessons, and grew side by side in scenes full of tenderness and wisdom. Keeping their home together was Aunt Bee, played by Frances Bavier. She wasn't just a housekeeper, she was family. Aunt Bee offered love, advice, and plenty of home-cooked meals. Her warm presence made the Taylor household feel full and complete. And then there was Barney Fife, Andy's well-meaning but wildly over-the-top deputy. Played by the unforgettable Don Knotts, Barney was nervous, ambitious, and often got in over his head. His comic blunders, like misfiring his gun or panicking over a missing pie, made him a fan favorite. Andy always guided him with a knowing smile, and their deep friendship was one of the show's most treasured parts. But the magic didn't stop with the main characters. Mayberry was filled with lovable townsfolk, nosy neighbors, wise barbers, and friendly shopkeepers. Each week, viewers were invited into their world, to laugh at Barney's antics, watch Opie grow up, and feel the quiet beauty of small-town life. Even though it aired in the 60s, Andy Griffith once said the show felt more like the 30s, a slower, gentler time. It was never trendy or flashy. That's what made it special. It offered peace, warmth, and values that never go out of style. The audience loved it. It was a top-rated show its entire run, finishing in 1968 as the #1 program in America, a rare honor. Shared with I Love Lucy and Seinfeld. Don Knotts won 5 Emmys for his role, and Frances Bavier won 1, though Andy Griffith himself never received an Emmy for his performance. Even today, The Andy Griffith Show lives on. You can still watch it on channels like MeTV and TV Land, or stream it online where new generations fall in love with its charm. In Andy Griffith's real hometown, Mount Airy, North Carolina, fans gather by the thousands each year for Mayberry Days. They dress like the characters, sing old songs, and bring the peaceful world of Mayberry back to life. But while Mayberry seemed like a perfect, happy town on screen, what was really happening behind the scenes? What hidden tensions quietly bubbled on set, away from the smiling faces and laughter? Behind the scenes, the real-life tension in the Andy Griffith Show on screen. The Andy Griffith Show felt like a warm hug. Sheriff Andy Taylor and Aunt Bee were the heart of Mayberry, steady, loving, and kind. Their relationship, filled with gentle teasing, quiet wisdom, and deep affection, made viewers believe they were truly family. But behind the camera, the connection between Andy Griffith and Frances Bavier was far more complicated. Andy Griffith, who played the calm and playful sheriff, loved to keep things light on set. He enjoyed cracking jokes, playing pranks, and creating a friendly, relaxed atmosphere. Frances Bavier, however, was nothing like Aunt Bee when the cameras weren't rolling. A serious, private, and deeply professional actress, she didn't appreciate the off-screen joking around. She preferred focus and structure, something the easygoing mood on set often lacked. Ron Howard, who played young Opie Taylor, noticed the divide. In interviews, he shared how Bavier never quite felt like part of the group. The cast bonded like a family, but Bavier stayed distant. Griffith's playful teasing may have been good-natured, but Bavier didn't find it amusing. She often kept to herself, and her seriousness clashed with the playful energy around her. Other cast members noticed it too. Howard Morris, who played Ernest T. Bass and directed several episodes, once said working with Bavier was like stepping on a landmine. Even small requests, like asking her to move slightly for the camera, could lead to tense moments. She was proud of her work and didn't like being questioned or corrected. George Lindsay, who played Goober Pyle, even claimed in his memoir that Bavier once physically lashed out at another actor. Whether that story was exaggerated or not, it added to the growing picture of a woman who was often frustrated or unhappy behind the scenes. Still, Andy Griffith never spoke negatively about Bavier during the show's run. He kept things professional and didn't air private conflicts in public. It wasn't until a 1998 interview on Larry King Live that he quietly confirmed the rumors. Their relationship had been strained. But by then, the story had taken a poignant turn. 4 months before her death in 1989, Frances Bavier called Griffith out of the blue. She apologized for how she'd behaved during the show's filming, admitting she had been difficult. Griffith accepted her apology. It was a moment of quiet reconciliation after years of distance. There had been earlier signs of Bavier's emotional distance. In 1972, Griffith and Ron Howard visited her home in Silas City, North Carolina. She refused to let them in, only speaking to them through the closed door. The same thing happened in 1986 when producers tried to bring her into the reunion movie Return to Mayberry. She declined to participate, and again spoke to visitors through her door, saying simply, "I never liked Andy Griffith." That's a startling comment, especially for fans who saw Aunt Bee as the soul of the Taylor household. But the truth is, Frances Bavier often felt out of step with the rest of the cast. Some believed she resented the fact that Don Knotts and Andy Griffith got the best comedic scenes, while her character, though beloved, was mostly serious. That may have deepened her feelings of isolation. Rance Howard, Ron's father, once suggested that Andy himself held onto some bitterness toward Bavier over the years. It's easy to see how two strong-willed professionals with very different styles might have quietly clashed under the surface. Yet none of that tension ever showed on screen. The affection between Andy and Aunt Bee felt real. Their gentle kitchen conversations, the quiet comfort of their family dinners, and the care she showed to Opie made Mayberry feel like home. Fans may feel surprised or even sad to learn of the off-screen strain. But in a way, it makes the show even more impressive. Despite personal differences, these actors work together to create something lasting, something that continues to bring joy to people decades later. Frances Bavier retired in 1972 and spent her final years in quiet solitude. She died in 1989 at age 86. Andy Griffith lived a longer life and passed away peacefully in 2012. But together, through all the tension, they built a legacy. Aunt Bee and Sheriff Taylor may not have been close in real life, but on screen, they gave the world something unforgettable. Even after all these years, The Andy Griffith Show still touches our hearts. It shows us that kindness can change everything, laughter can heal pain, and the most powerful stories come from deep within. But behind the gentle charm of little Opie Taylor was a real boy, Ron Howard. What shaped him into the person he became? What was it really like growing up in front of the camera? And how did this young boy so quickly find his place in the bright, demanding world of show business? Ron Howard. From child star to acclaimed director, Ron Howard's career is one of the most inspiring stories in Hollywood. Born on March 1, 1954, in Duncan, Oklahoma, Ronald William Howard was practically born into show business. His father, Rance Howard, was an actor, writer, and director who changed his original last name, Beckenholt, to Howard to sound more professional. His mother, Jean Spiegel Howard, was an actress too. With parents so deeply involved in the entertainment world, Ron's path seemed set from the start. When Ron was born, his father was serving in the U.S. Air Force. After Rance finished his service, the family moved to California, where Ron grew up surrounded by movie sets and television studios. With his natural charm and talent, Ron began acting at a young age. He was tutored while working on set and went to school in Burbank, later attending USC's film school. Though he didn't graduate, his passion for directing had already taken hold. Ron's early roles in shows like The Twilight Zone and Dennis the Menace helped build his career, but everything changed in 1960 when, at just 6 years old, he was cast as Opie Taylor in The Andy Griffith Show. Playing the son of the wise, kind Sheriff Andy Taylor, Ron's role captured hearts across America. The show ran for 8 seasons, and Ron appeared in every one of them, becoming one of the most beloved child actors in TV history. After The Andy Griffith Show, Ron continued acting. One small appearance in a comedy sketch called Love and the Television Set led to something much bigger. That sketch was later renamed Love and the Happy Days, and it became the pilot for the now famous sitcom Happy Days. In it, Ron played Richie Cunningham, a polite, all-American teenager growing up in the 50s. With Henry Winkler as the Fonz, the show became a cultural hit. While Winkler's cool character got most of the attention, Ron's steady presence helped ground the show, and their friendship lasted off-screen too. Despite his acting success, Ron had other dreams. From a young age, he had watched directors closely and wanted to be one himself. That dream became reality in 1977 when he directed Grand Theft Auto, a low-budget comedy he co-wrote with his father. It was made under legendary producer Roger Corman.